What is up, guys? Welcome back to yet another brand new Major Ben Gaming video. I hope you guys are having an awesome day as always. And in this video today, I want to talk about the PlayStation 5 Pro because we're getting more and more articles talking about, the PS5 Pro is expected this year. They want to get it ready for the release of GTA 6 in 2025 because obviously that game is a huge system seller. And if you've got the most powerful console in the market, most people are going to go to that console to play this game. For example, if Series X and PS5, they seem to be running GTA 6 at probably 30 FPS. If the PS5 Pro can stretch to that 60 FPS, probably a ton of people are going to pick up this device simply of the fact that they want to play that game, since there's no PC release, to the best of the ability for the first couple of years before it actually comes to PC. But we're seeing more and more articles talking about the PlayStation 5 Pro. I'm just going to have a little read and then we're going to discuss. I don't know why my display capture is not working. There you go. Sony is expected to launch a souped-up version of the PlayStation 5 later this year, analysts have said. A new CNBC report notes that there was now broad consensus in the gaming industry that Sony is indeed preparing a launch of a PS5 Pro in the second half of 2024, quoting Tokyo-based games analyst Serkan Toto. However, the report cautions that Sony is unlikely to see a large upstick in PS5 sales year on year as a result of the Pro's launch, and it's also unlikely to cut the costs of the base PS5 model as a result. Yeah, I think that's probably true. I think that the PS5 Pro model is actually going to be an increase in cost, not like last time where the Pro model was the same as the base model and the base model was reduced on the PS4. I think it's going to be different. I think the PS5 is going to stay where it is and the PS5 Pro is going to be like a more premium, expensive version of that. Which obviously it is, but I think the price is going to show. Sony will want to make sure to have a great piece of hardware ready for when GTA 6 hits in 2025, a launch that will be a shot in the arm for the entire gaming industry. It's very true. It's going to be an absolutely massive game. It talks about the digital foundry analysis at the time, and talks about some of the basic stuff. Anyway, I want to give my opinion on this because, as you can see, there are tons of articles saying that it's expected to release this year, and there's also some articles saying it could be delayed until early next year, but the consensus is the PS5 Pro is happening. So if you are in the market for a PlayStation and you've got enough money to buy one now, should you go and buy a PS5? Entirely depends on you and your use case. Do you have a 4K TV? That would be my first question. If you only have a 1080p TV, 100% go out and buy a PS5 now, because you're not going to be even taking advantage of a PS5. If you have a 4K TV like me with a 120Hz refresh rate, and you don't have a PS5 yet, but you've got the previous console or whatever, I still think buy a PS5. Like, it's not like when the PS5 Pro comes out, your console's instantly useless. Like, no, you're going to still be able to play the same games as people with the PS5 Pro. They won't look as good, they won't run at as nice of frame rates, but, you still got a PS5, and then you can upgrade a little bit later to the PS5 Pro if you feel like it. At the end of the day, I can't make a decision for you guys. It's down to what you want to do and whether you want to buy a PlayStation 5 now or just wait for the Pro that should be coming either late this year or early next year. So that's your time frame right now. That's what all analysts have confirmed. It's either going to be later this year with a basically second quarter of this year we should know about it, and then you could perhaps wait to see second quarter, is it announced, and then make your decision whether it's actually been confirmed when the release date is going to be. But who knows? What I want to talk about is, what do you guys think about a PS5 Pro? Because my mindset is that I love my PS5. It's on this side. I've used it so much. I really like the console. But I also have a gaming PC. As you know, I actually prefer console. I like collecting physical games, as you can see by my collection down there. I prefer physical games, and I love collecting games for the platform. So I do play mostly on PlayStation 5. However, I do feel that two things, basically. One, I don't think the devs are taking full advantage of these consoles yet. That's both Series X, S, and PlayStation 5. I think, apart from first-party developers, these consoles are not being fully utilized to the extent that they should be at this time. I think many games, that third-party games, I mean, look at what we've had recently. We've had stuff like Suicide Squad, that it looks okay graphically, but but definitely not great. Not Sea of Thieves, Skull and Bones, sorry, just looks terrible. It looks like a PS3 game, to be honest, barely even a PS4 game. Like, so many games are coming out with just terrible graphics, and they so rely, ow, my cat just attacked me, they so heavily rely on upscaling from the hardware. Now that the hardware can do all this stuff with FSR and things, they so heavily rely on that to the point where they don't even bother to optimize games properly. They just FSR it up to the resolution that they think people want to see. So that is all extremely disappointing so far, in my opinion. But in the end of the day, even if the devs aren't taking advantage of the hardware, they're not going to do it with a PS5 Pro. So I'm actually kind of wanting a PS5 Pro because it's just going to brute force its way to getting higher frame rates and also better quality. And what the position I'd like to be at is where the performance mode that we get now is like a 120 FPS mode on the PS5, the same resolution as the current performance modes that we get 60 on, except you get 120. And then I'd like the quality mode to be 4K like it is on most quality mode games, but 60 FPS instead of 30. That's where I would love to see a Pro PS5 model. That's just where I personally stand on it, because in the end of the day, devs aren't giving, well, most devs, a lot of devs these days who are making games and just rushing them out, don't seem to care about optimization and making things for the hardware that's out there. So they're not going to do it with whatever comes next. So you might as well release a system that brute forces its way to that. Like the PC does, basically. The PC is never optimized to the extent of a console. It just brute forces its way. If the PS5 was a 4090 and you had a PC 4090, for example, the PS5 would absolutely run games at the exact same spec as a PC better. They just would, like if it was spec to spec, because they optimize for the console. But they don't seem to do that so much anymore to the extent that they used to in previous generation games. So I think just having that system that can brute force its way to make things look better is good, and I'd love to see, I mean, games like Spider-Man 2, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, that already looks phenomenal. God of War, Demon's Souls is one of those incredible looking games on PS5. I would love to see what performance enhancements they could bring to those existing games. Like, imagine, like I said, quality mode is 60 FPS and then performance mode is 120. That's what this generation, in my opinion, should have been from the start. We were promised from both companies, PlayStation and Xbox, that we would see 120 FPS games become a much bigger thing, and 60 FPS was the new norm. In my opinion, they should have set a standard where quality mode is 60 FPS at as high a resolution as possible, and performance mode is 120 across all games, because that is what should be the default, and that should be the default for this Pro platform. If it's not, if we're still having these 30 FPS games coming out, like I think what's that game that's coming out recently? Let me just have a look, guys, because I want to make sure I get this right. I think it's next month. Let's just check. Sorry, 2 seconds. Where the hell? Dragon's Dogma 2, I believe, is locked to 30 FPS across all consoles, and it's like, why? Like, what do we do? What is this game doing that's so brilliant that so many other games haven't done? I mean, people go, oh, well, it's an open world game. It needs to run at, there's so much more going on. Look at Horizon Forbidden West. It's literally one of the best graphics games. It's open world. You can fly above the clouds. Like, it's ridiculously open world. And I challenge you to find some games on PC that even equate to that game. Like, it's so good. Horizon Forbidden West, is one of the best graphics games. It's open world. There is no excuse, and that runs at 60 FPS, and then the quality mode is 30. So I don't know. I'd love a PS5 Pro at this point, because I'm sick of still seeing 30 FPS games come out. There seems to be less on PS5 from their first-party devs. I don't think there's many at all, actually. Xbox still have stuff like Starfield, Redfall was 30 FPS at launch. I'm just sick of 30 FPS. That needs to go and die very, very fast. And 60 should be the new norm with a 120 performance mode, in my opinion. And with GTA 6 coming out, I would love to see PS5 Pro running. I'd like to see all of them running at 60, but I think with Rockstar developing that game, I do think that they will actually push the console like they always have with their titles. So I'm excited to see what they do with that game anyway, through both consoles. And yeah, but thank you for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, and let me know what you think about PlayStation 5 Pro, and I'll see you in future videos. Bye-bye for now.